with other vendors, Oracle, Microsoft, VMware, they've all got contractual obligations inside their ULAs that expect the user to be able to record and manage usage and licenses that they've purchased, which is fine in theory, but actually when you look further into their details around what are your obligations to self-report or self-declare, or worst case in an audit, there's nothing in an audit clause that says you will have to provide us with all this information. So you're signing a contract that you haven't really got the definitions of what you're expected to deliver, because most people understand the SAM function of that is collect, add, remove program data or executables or processes and match it up to licenses. But actually when you run an audit as an ex-auditor, we didn't just collect that information. Sometimes we had log files out of switches or routers to identify other virtual machines that people didn't know existed. So are you as a customer entering into an agreement without understanding what your obligations are? And equally as much, is the vendor allowing you to sign a contract without necessarily understanding whether or not you can deliver that? There is an analogy that if you go to a mortgage advisor and you want a mortgage and they say, well, how much do you want? And you give a number and they say, oh, sure, Mr. Worsley, it's £3,500 a month. And you say, that's fine. They're not checking. As a mortgage company, they've just accepted my word. But of course, most mortgage companies would then go off and have a look at my bank statement and say, well, you haven't got £3,500 you can afford, so maybe we can lend you less. But when you're entering into a software agreement with someone, vendors aren't going to turn around and say, excuse me, Mr. Worsley, are you capable of delivering all these audit terms and contractual terms? Because they're not going to refuse $1 million or $2 million worth of software. But what happens when you then get an audit? They've knowingly entered into an agreement, potentially knowingly entered into an agreement, that the customer doesn't have the capability to deliver the data required to do an audit. It's an interesting discussion to start negotiations with a software vendor at contract renewals time. You know,
Yeah.
Can you please clearly explain to me what data you need in the event of an audit, because I'm signing an audit clause here and it doesn't tell me.